Coaches and general managers with the most pressure this season. So, Gilbert, I'm going to give you a list. You tell me. We'll go with coaches. What do you want to go with first? GMs, or do you want to go with?
You know what? Yeah, let's go with GM and then coaches.
All right, let's do it. Terry Fontenot, Joe Douglas, Shane, yeah. John Lynch, Chris Ballard, Trent Baalke, or Chris Greer. Or somebody that is not even on the list.
You know what? Can I take two? Or I don't know. I don't want to take one of yours.
Go ahead. It's only you and I, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We already spoke about John Lynch and because of the 49ers, but I don't know if did I consider pressure with like almost losing your job, or just, you know what, you got to have some kind of productive season.
I think it's both.
I don't think John Lynch will lose his job, so I will probably put less pressure.
San Diego's own.
There is pressure though. What was that?
Just San Diego's own John Lynch.
Oh, there you go. But I don't think he has like that much pressure, but there is a lot of pressure on the team to finally get it done. So I'll go with people who might get fired, and I'll go with the New York teams here. And I think Joe Douglas is an obvious one, Fernando. And, I forgot that he's been around since 2019. Like, he's at 2019, 2021, like 5 seasons of no playoff success. Like, this is Tom Telesco territory. You're halfway in to going 10, 12 years with like not much success here. So 5 years is a long time. And I think Joe Douglas got lucky with Aaron Rodgers, because once Aaron Rodgers went down, it felt like, you know what? Throw away the season. We'll try it again with the same group. And I know Woody Johnson maybe thought about firing Joe Douglas. Robert Saleh also 3 years of not much going into year 4, and no offense success here. But everybody's just tying their wagon to Aaron Rodgers. Please stay healthy, Aaron Rodgers. We might not excuse your absence, but we really need you for the season. So there's definitely a lot of pressure on Joe Douglas. And yeah, he could say, you know what, I drafted Sauce Gardner, I drafted Garrett Wilson, but there's a lot of players out there, and Quentin Williams too. So that's kind of, again, Tom Telesco, where you do hit on some of your draft picks, but there's no success on the field. There's no victories here. So I think Joe Douglas definitely, if it doesn't work with Aaron Rodgers the second time around, I could definitely see a total wipeout of the front office, the quarterback, and the GM here. So, and also with Joe Shane, like, you bet on Daniel Jones 2 years ago when everybody kept saying don't pay Daniel Jones 3 years. I don't know what the number is that you're throwing up.
You're just going with 3 general managers.
That's 2. I said John Lynch. I'm not counting, because I feel like people who might get fired, and Joe Shane, you put money into Daniel Jones, and then you're doing it again. You didn't even trade up to get a quarterback. That's why I knock the Vikings and the Giants, because you kind of just sat back and waited, and the Vikings got McCarthy, and the Giants just said, F it, one more year with Daniel Jones. So if that doesn't work out, that's on you, Joe Shane.
Okay, Adir, real quick, we will answer your question as soon as we're done with this segment. So just sit tight, but we will get to it. I'm going to go with 2 also, and I'm going to go Trent Baalke and Chris Greer.
I like Chris Greer. That's a good one.
Chris Greer, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you pay Tua Tagovailoa and they are terrible this year, you could potentially get fired. If you don't pay Tua, he balls out, and the team does well, you're kind of SOL, because you're going to have to pay him a lot more money, because that Dak Prescott money might be even more. But I'm going to lean more towards the side of Mike McDaniel keeps on talking about 24. We haven't been to the playoffs in 24, or we haven't won a playoff game in 24 years. These last 2 times that they've been to the playoffs have been disastrous for them. They really haven't been able to do much, and they have a lot of firepower. They're spending a lot of money. They're literally trying to build this like super team, where a couple of years ago it might have been one of the best defenses in the league, because they have Calais Campbell. They have they just signed a safety as well. I can't remember his name right now, but I think he was on the Saints before. But
is Marcus Williams, was it?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, Marcus May. They signed him. They have 2 of the fastest receivers in the NFL, but your offensive line is bad, and you didn't address it. Tua has lost weight, and your running game was very good last year, but can they replicate? So I just think that the frustration is going to start getting there if they don't win football games this year. And this year they're going to have a tougher schedule. They're going to face tougher opponents, and then the rest of the conference got a lot better. Houston has gotten a lot better. I keep on saying it. I still think it. I think the Jets are going to be a lot better this year. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be a lot better. I don't think the Patriots will be a doormat like they have been the last few years. I think they're going to be tougher this year, especially because they were missing Matthew Judon down the stretch as well. So your division got harder, and then the rest of the conference has gotten harder. And remember, as soon as they won those 70 games last year, they blew out the Broncos by 70. They started going down. Everybody was saying Super Bowl. Nobody can figure these guys out. They got figured out. Everybody's going to see that scheme now. And exactly. They're the Titanic. They're going to start seeing that scheme. And then at the end of the season, they had a chance. And the Bills had numerous injuries, and they still weren't able. And so did they. The Dolphins had a pass rushing. They had Melvin Ingram in there, and then I can't remember the other guy on the other side that they had. But they were hurt bad at pass rush. But I think Chris Grier is definitely one of those that is in trouble. Trent Baalke, you just paid Trevor Lawrence. Last year you were 9-3. You sold playoff tickets, and you didn't make the playoffs. Trent Baalke he did good work in San Francisco, but you butted heads with Jim Harbaugh. You've come here. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. So I think he's gonna be that guy because he brought in Doug Peterson. Well, no, Doug Peterson.
That was after.
Yeah. You brought in Doug Peterson. You've he was I guess you could say he did bring in Urban Meyer. And he was the director of player personnel, and then he was the interim general manager. Right. So so there was a hit and miss, but you brought in Doug Peterson. The first year, great. You guys made the playoffs. You guys, in a sense, you were at home, but you upset the Chargers, who were up 27-0. 27-7 going into halftime. But then this last year was bad. You paid Trevor Lawrence. What happens if Trevor doesn't come through? So I think, and I don't think the Cons are very patient people. So that's my other thing. I think Tony, we've spoken to him. We've sat down with him twice, and Tony Khan is not a patient person. He does get frustrated very easily. Go into the wrestling side. We saw what happened with CM Punk. Two incidents happened. Boom, fired. CM Punk the next month ends up in WWE. So they do get a little bit restless, and this is both Cons, his father and Tony. So I think they can get a little bit. They're going to be like, why the hell did we just pay this quarterback and we're not making the play? And we paid Gabe Davis, and we paid
I don't even know
Charlie Kirk, Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
We paid Christian Kirk. Who the hell is Charlie Kirk?
They haven't had a good offseason by Fernando.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't think they had a
Davis, and then you sign an old center and Mitch Morse. You get Eric Armstead, but he's also in the older. So they just got a bunch of older guys to plug in their holes. Like, can you draft? Can you develop?
No, did he? But I definitely think that Trent Baalke has to be. By the way, Mookie Betts is out for 60 games. Jesus,
damn.
2 months. But look at that. We talk baseball on here. But I'm gonna go with both of those general managers. So
I really like the Chris Grier one. He's been around for a minute, and I also wonder too, Fernando, like maybe I'll do him good on a personal level if he locks up Tua, because like imagine firing Chris Grier and it's now the next GM comes in like, oh crap, what did you do with the salary cap? There's no space to operate. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Bradley Chubb, maybe Jalen Phillips, and you got Tua. Like, what do you do? Like, you can't just like ride the coattails of Chris Grier and what he built and hope that it works out. Like, I don't know. That's gonna be asking for a lot if you do fire him. And then Trent Baalke with the Jaguars. A lot of people point to Trevor Lawrence year 2 after Urban Meyer, but I'm like, they kind of got lucky. They were in a crappy division at the time. The AFC South was really bad. They got hot at the end. They won the division with a terrible record, and then they got lucky when they came back on the Chargers. The Chargers, sorry for the bad memories. They should have won that game. And then people kind of hold that one for Trevor Lawrence. And it could be some criticism for Trevor Lawrence, but I get it. When you're a quarterback and you're, considered top 10, top 12, and you have the potential, you're going to lock up Trevor Lawrence before Tua, before Jordan Love, before Dak Prescott. So maybe there's some kind of a little bit of a discount for Trent Baalke. But overall, I don't know what they're doing. I do like Josh Allen. I'm not even sure if he didn't draft Josh Allen. So that's not a point for Balky there. So you got Allen and you got Lawrence locked up. Besides that, there's not much to look at for him.
The other Josh Allen.
Yeah, from the Jaguars.
No, I know. But that's what they call him. They call him. He should
Yeah.
make his own brand, like the other Josh Allen, like something that would be pretty badass for him to do. But all right, Gilbert, let's go over to head coaches. Yes, Gilbert, you may have two if you need.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna let you take one. I'm not gonna. Oh, here he is. Lame trying to blame me for being sick. Your curse on me rebounded.
You're the one that, like, every time you go to Vegas, either you forget something important or you're sick or I don't know. It's just a bunch of excuses, mister. I can't hang out with the guys at the end of the night, but whatever. You're not here to be to defend yourself, so I'll go easy on you.
But
yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm not gonna let you choose Mike McCarthy though, because you already wrote about him. So I'm gonna let you go. All right, Gilbert. So Nick Sirianni, Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, Doug Peterson, Kyle Shanahan, John Harbaugh, and Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I think John Harbaugh's a lifer, so I'm gonna move him over. I know people knock Shanahan. I know you and Victor and Dan are more critical, but he gets there. He gets to the damn big game, so I'm gonna move him out too. Peterson could be one. You know, I'll give you. I already had the Jets. I think.
Jorge, where the hell have you been? Have you been on vacation or what?
I know, man. What's up, Jorge? You know, it's been a minute.
The Chargers have just signed Ladd McConkey to a 4-year deal today, so it is the most guaranteed money in NFL history for the 34th pick overall.
Oh, now we're doing little
I
history
guess
there.
that's what
very specific history there.
Yeah,
the 34th pick in the NFL. Whatever. Yeah.
Maybe that's how good he's gonna be, Gilbert.
Maybe. Was it Jeff Miller who wrote that he might be the number one option? And I
no. Jeff didn't write that. Jeff just put that everybody else ran with it and said, no, I'm not.
I was gonna say I haven't read the story. I know how these things go. You write something positive, and then it takes out of context. I know what Jeff.
No. Ladd just been, like I told you and Dan on the podcast. Ladd's been that guy that when that day that he slipped and that he didn't catch that pass, Herbert goes, dude, get up. He's like, we all go through it. Go over again and let's do this correctly. He did it, and boom. So he has been a favorite target of Herbert, but I just wouldn't say he's the number one option yet. He has caught a lot of his passes. Herbert, I think, likes throwing to him. He spoke highly about him during the presser, but yeah, I just think that was taken out of context.
Yeah, the second I saw notification, number one, I'm like, I gotta read this Jeff story because I don't think he would just say.
Yeah, no, that's not what Jeff Miller said,
especially in June. But yeah,
but remember, but now it's mini camp. It's
in training camp. If you see the progression, then yeah, you could do it. But that's a different topic, and I'll get to the point. I like Nick Sirianni, but there is a lot of pressure, and it's pressure not only to just deliver wins, but also you might get fired. So that's definitely a lot of pressure right there for Sirianni, who somewhat got lucky to have a job last year because with the Eagles fan base, man, they don't care that you've gone to the Super Bowl in the last 2 or 3 years. They don't care about success from whatever year. They want it. They want recent success. They want you coming off a playoff season, and when you have a 10-1 record and you choke that away with a terrible defense, and that's on the GM there, Howie Roseman there. So I thought it was maybe the right move to get Sirianni, one more year. And sometimes when you give a coach one more year, it doesn't work out the way. I just feel like with the Eagles, there's always a lot of pressure. Hey, don't screw it up. Sometimes you have a good coach, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want to. And I think he's a good coach. So, but if you do that again 2 years in a row, you might not get lucky. And if it comes out to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, you know who they're going to pick, Howie Roseman. So I could definitely see Sirianni, especially if he doesn't nail the OC hire because they really struggled last year with Brian Johnson. If Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith are arguing again, that could be a long year for Nick Sirianni.
I still think that they're going to struggle even with Kellen Moore there. And then obviously I think last year he wanted to get Vic Fangio. This year they finally got him. So that'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. But I'm going to stay away from Mike McDaniel and Doug Peterson because I already spoke about their general managers. Mike McCarthy's too easy, so I'm not going to go there because like I said, Coach Prime is coming to Dallas. I can't go John Harbaugh because I'm with you. I think he's just okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with Mike McDaniel. F it. I already kind of talked myself into it. Brian Daboll to me is too easy to talk about. Mike McCarthy's too easy to talk about. So I'm going to give myself more of a challenge. I think Mike McDaniel came in and everybody was so excited about his system. Everybody was so excited about everything that he was doing. I think everybody's funny that he's quirky. He's a little dorky. Like he
All
says
right.
some weird stuff. Yeah. So I just think that it was just one of those things where no, Jorge, I think Mike Tomlin just got a contract extension. So I don't think they'll fire him.
Yeah.
Um, Mike McDaniel's system is fun, but when the going gets tough, that system hasn't been all that that system hasn't been all that great. So I think he's definitely on the hot seat. And I think see, this is the thing about Mike McDaniel, and like I said, like everybody likes the flashiness. Everybody likes to point at the Washington head or the coaches that became head coaches. Everybody talks about Sean McVay, LaFleur, him. Like it's a great pick. We even extended it because what's it? The Eagle or the Houston Texans OC was on there too. So I definitely think that he's on the hot seat. I think if Tua doesn't perform well, I think if there's frustration between the receivers, because let's be honest, like Tyreek Hill already came out and voiced that he wants to be paid again, essentially. So what's gonna happen there? So and I'm gonna go with the same thing that I've said about the Houston Texans in a sense. There's a lot of different personalities on this team now. And I just don't know how all these personalities are going to mix. Calais Campbell's a veteran that wants to win before he's done. Is he going to get frustrated with the nonsense that you kind of see sometimes from some of these guys? There is times where you see nonsense from Jalen Waddle on the field. There is times where you see nonsense from Tyreek Hill on the field. There is times where you see nonsense from these guys. So how's a veteran like him going to take some of this stuff? So that's kind of my thing. And then obviously Xavier Howard is no longer there. So what's that secondary going to look like? So there's just little things here that I just don't think that this is a good season for Mike McDaniel. I think it's a dangerous season, especially with some of the elements that are on this team. I think they're going all in. I completely think they're going all in, but I just don't think all in is going to end up being what they expected, especially because they're missing Christian Wilkins too. That
Yeah.
guy's been a big addition. I know somebody went he had a hot take. He said the Raiders are going to have the best defensive line in the NFL. Holy crap! What a smoking hot take! But I truly think that I truly think that they're going to miss him. They're going to miss some of the pass rushers that are obviously out with injuries, and Jalen Phillips and I can't remember who else got hurt, but
Bradley Chubb. They lost Andrew
Bradley
Van
Chubb, yeah,
Ginkel. And to go
yeah,
off your point, Fernando, like 3 years of hearing like this guy's a genius, he's an offensive guru. Like when it's not working, your scheme's like, okay, like what else you got, man? Like all these funny jokes on wearing Yeezys and Jordans, like, yeah, that's cool. But like when it gets stuff like you said, when it's December football, big boy football, physical football, and you still don't know how to adjust in game, all that offensive guru crap, people start forgetting about it. And also if you're Chris Greer and the draft rolls around, like, hey, and Mike's like, give me that fast guy. Mike, you got to be kidding me. Another fast guy. You can't even make it
yeah.
work with all these fast guys. Enough is enough. So all this scheme, being a guru, after 3 years, it could get tiring and people roll their eyes and saying, where's the success? You went all in. And what do you have to show for it? 0 playoff victories.
Yeah, I just think that they no, they had Chase Claypool last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool's now with
They
I
keep
think
trying it. After a
Buffalo.
while,
But
Chris Greer's like, shut up, man. Like,
yeah,
let me do it my way.
no, I completely agree. It's just too many fast guys, there's too much, and you need a guy that can move the chains, and I don't feel like they have that kind of guy. They either have home run hitters, sometimes you need a guy that can get you on base. And remember, what was it in Moneyball, Gilbert?
I forgot.
When I snap at you, I want you to answer. He gets on base. God, come on, Gilbert, get on base. That's
It wasn't
Brad
that good
Pitt.
of a movie for me to remember that.
Brad Pitt snap at. It's a great movie. I actually really like that
Good,
movie.
but it wasn't great.
No, but it's memorable when he goes.
Not that line.
Yes, it is. But you need guys that can get on base, and unfortunately, they do not have guys that can get on base. So that's their problem. They just have too many home run hitters.
Even their running backs, Fernando. Like if you want to get physical and have like a slow down approach, Achan and Mostert fast. What are the 49ers? You want to
Friend of
follow
the
the
show. Friend
49ers?
of the show, Mozart.
Mostert's awesome, by the way. But if you want to get, versatile.
He has
and
nice
maybe
eyes, by the way. I find myself like watching his eyes while I was
the
interviewing
interview
him.
was like 20 minutes long, and then I lost memory on my space on my phone. That's why you got
Oh, but
fascinated.
his agent was really
Yeah.
nice. His agent was nice. She started recording it.
But my point was like, the 49ers are built the same way with, playmakers. But when it gets to being physical, you got McCaffrey to hand the ball off to. He could do it. Mostert and Achane, I don't know if they can. They need guys like that, and they don't protect themselves by having different kind of players in case the game changes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.